Shalom. This is Charbayan Schroller out of the Lions Den camp, located here in Jacksonville, Florida. First and foremost, I would like to all praise and honor and glory to the Father and the Son in the proper true Hebrew tongue. Ka Halayim La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Ha Rukah Kodash Ma'amoth. Also, double honor to the elders, apostles, and GMS. Double honor to our elder down here in Lions Den camp, Ohio Ryan Schroller. Peace, blessing, 1/3, and salutations to the old for elect. It's gonna be a quick lesson, going on the old, you know how they say, out with the in with the new, out with the old. But ultimately, you gonna go by that for your actual character, because what we want is ultimately go back to old paths, seek the old paths, man. We how in the beginning where we were more faithful, we had everything was better, man. But of course, our people transgress, and the Lord does send a fowler. He does send a hammer to do what they need to do and so we can learn good and bad. Do bondage and slavery and whatnot. Through the Greeks, the Romans, Esau, the Persians, Elam, whoever, man, the Medes, whoever came up against Israel, and we learned and we learned, the lesson. But nonetheless, it's like I'll get straight to it. Actually, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 2, also known as the Book of Sirach, chapter 2. I'm gonna get verse. I start at verse 9. I start at verse 8. It says, "Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy." All right. So, it's like ye that fear the Lord, man. If you believe in him, you'll have a reward for that, man. And it should not fail, especially if you fear the Lord. You fear the Lord, you love him. You're gonna keep his commandments to the best of your ability. Then yeah, he has something for you. Lord willing, as long as you sincere. It says, "Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy, and mercy." That's what we want. We want nothing but that. We want nothing but righteousness everlasting. This planet right now is without it, man. The trees and the mountains mourn for the return of our King Yahushua, man. Where she was crucified 37 AD, man, a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. What the word evenly paints as a caveman with long hair, and call him Jesus, and they don't. Or then as soon as you say the letter J ain't it was invented about 675 years ago, they'll say Yahweh, and by yada yada, so on and so forth. Those are the ones that don't fear the Lord. Those are the ones that don't care about his name. They don't care about Acts 4 and 12. Right? There's only one name that under heaven that can be, that can save them. They don't care about that, man. They care about money. They care about themselves. They care about this and that. If you really care about the Lord or yourself, truly, then you would try to fear the Lord and with truth and sincerity. So verse 10 says, "Look at the generation of old, and see did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded?" Nah, if even prophets of old, men of men of the Lord of old, once their time has come, they thank the Lord for having that time, and a couple of times, they might pray for more years, and the Lord can give it to them. All right, it says once again, it says verse 10 of Sirach chapter 2, it says, "Look at the generations of old, and see did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded, or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? None." It says, "For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long suffering, and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in time of affliction." All right, it says, woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. It says, "Woe be for fearful hearts, man. The ones that are not fearful of the Lord. That's the only thing you're supposed to be fearful of. You know, anything else outside of people right now are scared of bills. Literally, they're scared of their children. They're scared of their wives. They're scared of themselves. They're scared of their bosses. They're scared of everything, man. They're scared of missing out on fun, quote unquote fun, folly, destruction. We can't do this destruction this week. Ah, dang, faith. But really, if you're not trying to follow the Lord, you can have fun and everything. But what is fun? Once again, it's the fun people of this world have is folly, man. They love anarchy. They're following multiple guys, literally. Like all these holidays, like we finna go on July 4th. You finna see Jake barbecuing, even though it was like Black History Month or whatever. You finna see him barbecuing this was it this month or next month? Even though that goes into the birth of this place Babylon. That don't have nothing to do with us. We was still picking cotton or picking what's it called? I don't know, poppy seeds, the poppy fields. All types of stuff, man. Jake had nothing to do with Esau's independence. All right. So I'm gonna keep going. This is for the Lord is full of compassion and mercy and long suffering, very pitiful, and forgive sins and save from time. What be to the fearful hearts? Yep. Faint hands, the ones that don't want to do the work. All right. It says in the sinner that go up two ways, the one that serve two masters, the one that want to try to serve God, but then they'll turn around and try to serve their boss. Once again, they'll try to serve Esau, man. They gonna try to serve their wives. They're gonna trim. They might trim their ways for lust or a woman. Ultimately lust. If you're not doing it for the Lord, you're doing it for another reason. All right, and if they don't line up. But it says verse 13, it says, "Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not. Therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience. And what will you do when the Lord shall visit you?" All right, so woe to you that have lost patience. The Lord is long suffering. All right, the Lord is going to do what he said he's going to do. You just have to wait, man. The Lord, our people are impatient sometimes, man. Two-thirds of our people are ultimately very impatient. They're transgression, they're malicious, they're vicious. Every word in the book that goes against the Lord, and they are right. They are 100% unapologetically themselves, man, but wicked. Nothing good about them, man. If you're not trying to follow the Lord, you don't fear the Lord, then hey, man, the Lord got to clean you with the best cleaning agent He has to offer, because we have had many of times, and it's still mercy. What He's finna bring, which is 200 million ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, the missiles that nuclear missiles that every country does possess and are at arms against one another right now, at least with going against this place Babylon, and it will soon further conflict will come, because that's how the Lord is playing it. Long suffering, once again, it's patience. You gotta have faith in the Lord, Yahweh Bashim outside, because who wants this place to really go on forever and ever? Of course, Esau might want to. Of course, even some of our people, but what's going to be the end of the story? Nothing good. Nothing good comes from the end of the story, man. But if the end of the story ends how it's supposed to end, which is salvation, that's a good ending. Not what Esau has planned. He wanted everything. He wanted death. We want joy and peace and righteousness. What the Lord want. That's what our people should want, and that's what we're gonna get. It's gonna come, and He gonna give it to His elect. And the 1/3, Lord will impart that number. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 6, verse 16 says, "Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein." So this is for 2/3 of our people. They don't want to seek the old paths. They want to say out with the old, in with the new. Nah, man. That only goes for your character. You should, forget the old man and become a new creature. But as far as these paths are this way, this truth. It's always been this way, man. It's been like this for since the beginning. If you just want to say from Jacob being Yasharala, us being the Prince of Power. All right, but yeah, man. At least you go a little bit more. 2,000 years ago, man. With Yahweh Shai, man. This is what you should be in remembrance of. That we are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true Israelites of the scriptures, man. Throughout all history, that's what it always has been, except for the past 500 years. This little click in history has set our nation behind, but of course the Lord is going to deliver our nation through this fast-paced time that we're going through. Because everything is going really fast. Everything that this place is about and love, like the mirth, the fun, is slowly depleting. All the hope is depleting, and they all going against everybody's going against the other. They're going against the king, sedition, standing against Satan. So everything is going how the Lord wants it to go, whether you like it or not. It's just better. There's like the lesson says, Jeremiah chapter 6:16. Once again, thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein. Ye shall find rest for your soul. So the old paths, man. What since the beginning, man, try to follow our God, man, our power. Now we know his name is the Most High, Yahweh. Most High being the title, Yahweh being the name, which means he exists. All right. Not Jehovah, not just God, because God is just a title, it just means power. Not whatever the name, Yahweh, all the other names. His name is a Paleo-Hebrew tongue, or Proto-Paleo-Hebrew, which means first ancient Hebrew or ancient Hebrew. Either way, you'll see that it's not Ahai, it's not none of that. It's Yahweh, that'll be the name of our Father. Nonetheless, once again, seek the old paths, man. That's what you should want to follow. You should follow that, because none of them were confounded. None of them were behooved. You're not going to be able to call on the Lord and you being sincere. You actually crying for help with all your might. You're not gonna be dismayed, man. That's a promise. If you're sincere and you're doing it to your last breath, he will deliver you. But this is Revelation chapter 14. Once again, man, there's truth. It's always been around. You want to say this promise that Yahweh Shai, gave to his disciples, and of course throughout Israel, the ones that heard it, the hopeful elect, the ones that heard from far off. That sounds pretty good. They didn't even never seen. They probably even never seen Yahweh Shai, but they heard about it one good time. That sounds good. That sounds happy. Man, that sounds like the best thing that this place can offer, right? It's salvation, man. To be the elect, to be a king, to have righteousness reign supreme, to have joy and what's it called, gleefulness and cheer, to be and have a merry spirit 24/7, 25/8, 30/10, So to have all the time in the world is to love the Most High, So this Revelation chapter 14, verse 1 says, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, the elect, hopeful elect, out of the nation Israel, 12,000 out of each tribe. It says, having his father's name written in their foreheads, man, the name of the Father, Yahweh. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers with their harps, It says, and they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts, the elders. And no man could learn the song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth, man. This truth, man. This walk, and I will just reiterate. It says, in a song, as it were, a new song. So this song, this is prophecy, by the way. The 144,000 elect men out of the nation of Israel, Lord, I'm part of that number. Of course, the Lamb Yahweh Shai, the Father that hate make this whole play Yahweh. The four beasts, the four archangels, man. All right. Everyone's singing. Ultimately, the hopeful elect. It says, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne, before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn the song but the 144,000. That's the walk, the truth that the Most High bestowed unto his men. The ones on the highways and byways and street corners. The angels want to do what we do, and of course, we as humans, we want to be able to fly and be in the chariots and oversee our people, but vice versa. The angels want to do what we do. We want to do what the angels do. We want to be able to chill all day, but the angels want to go through perseverance, go through affliction, go through a walk. Something is like the craziest story. Like it's a walk that we knew we were going to do before we was formed in the belly. Jeremiah chapter 1-5. The Lord knew us before we was formed in the belly. We know in the spiritual realm that this is what we're going to have to do. We have of course no physical memory of who we were in the fast life, but we remember that this is what we need to do. Is like eclipse, and boom, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. It's a promise given us to us by the Lord that's sitting on the right hand of the Father right now, Yahweh Shai, our King, given to us 2,000 years ago, man. This is reincarnation. We're back in the flesh, and we're doing the Father will once again. Because why? When you seek the old paths, when you follow the original, what the Lord intended for us to do, and call out their name, you're not going to be dismayed, ultimately. All right, so it says, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne. They sung as it were a new song because it's not a new song. This is the truth that's been going on ever, And it just a read, the New Testament, which we believe in the whole Bible, by the way. We believe in the Old Testament, the Apocrypha, the New Testament. But Yahweh coming back, we not we supposed to follow the laws to the best of our abilities. You can't be beheaded for doing something like you can be ultimately renewed spiritually, a spiritual baptism. No physical baptism, no citrine or nitro or whatever, none of that. No soda water. We gonna use the spirit of Yahweh Shai. No judge gonna cut you down because you did something wrong. Only the Lord can do that. Right now. If you want to, but it's laws in place. The Lord is gonna do all that ultimately. The Lord has an even better plan. So there's nothing new about this, man. This is old. This is something old. It's been here. I'm gonna get like one more. I'm gonna get one precept. This is John chapter 14, I believe. Yeah, St. John chapter 14, chapter 14, outside of verse 21. Nah. Verse 24 says, he that loveth me, he that loveth me not, keepeth not my sayings, and the word which ye hear is not mine, but the word which ye hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. All right. It says, these things have I spoken unto you, being present with you. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. All right. This is coming into remembrance of Yahweh Shai. Even with that, the Most High is gonna quicken his men as well, man. Give them hinds for do new bodies, through the tribulation, through Jacob's trouble. And I say already once again, says he that loveth me and he loveth me not, keepeth not my sayings, The word which you hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. You know, this is the Father's will, the Most High, and how shall I did what He's supposed to do. These things have I spoken unto you, being present with you, the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, whom the Father will send in my name. He shall teach you all things, bring all things to remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. So everything that Yahweh said, it was ultimately the Father, sent to do it. And when it's time, boom, we'll get it back, man. It started with Albert Bivens on the Apostle of the Heart, and down, and whoever has the sincere, correct fruit, the proper right vibration, they're gonna know about the Lord. They're gonna know about the name. They're gonna know about the name Yahweh, and the Son Yahweh Shai. They're gonna know about Jacob's trouble. They're gonna know about these missiles. They're gonna know about even small things like race wars, sedition. These things that are coming. These are things that are are in the midst, and they're soon to come to fruition because the Lord are sending them, man. This is just studying the times, and of course the ones that are on the walls right now, the watchmen, they're studying the time diligently in themselves, and that's what the men of the Lord are going to do. They're going to see how everything's going, and is nothing new under the sun. It's happened before. It's going to be a crime for wine in the street. It's going to be spiritual or physical. It's going to be a staff of bread. It's going to be everything. Everything going to happen again. And the Lord going to make sure it's going to be the worst because He's sending them missiles. He's sending angels. He's sending His Son Yahweh Shai, King. He's sending. He's rising up His elect, giving them once again, giving them like hinds feet. Allowing them to run a little faster, allowing them to be a little stronger. And then everyone's gonna see it, who the Lord's elect is, who the Lord is, the Yahweh Shai, the so-called black man who they crucified 37 AD, and the Father and His Father, of course Yahweh, He's sending His angels. The angels are so-called black man, chariots, what people call UFOs and UAPs and UAVs, or and the elect, the men of the Lord, they of course they look like everybody, but ultimately they're so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, speckled birds, confusion of faces, people that look like the other nations. But hey, that's who the Lord elect is. That's who His angels is. That's who His Son is, Yahweh Shai. And yeah, man, coming to remembrance of that, man. Seek the old path, try to follow the truth. Cause this song, which is sung as, it's gonna be sung as it were a new song. The 100 for 1,000. But ultimately, hey, the Lord already said 2,000 years ago, you gonna get this promise, You gonna wake up, man. Take up this. It's light, man. But yeah, seek the old paths, man. Look at it. Look at the generations old. Anyone that follow the name of Yahweh in my side, they're gonna be confounded. Do that. This is the time. This is definitely a time. But Lord willing, I was edifying a little lesson. Hopefully, exhorting as well, man. Keep moving, keep pushing, keep doing your thing, brothers, sisters, children, Akim, Akwati. But once again, Lord willing, I was edifying, Yahweh Zah. And with that, I say Shalom.